Thousands of law enforcement officers are entering the 15th hour of a massive door-to-door manhunt for a suspect in Monday's Boston Marathon bombings that wounded more than 170 people and left 3 dead. A late-night police chase and shootout left one marathon bombing suspect, 26-year-old Tamerlan Tsarnaev, dead, and his younger brother on the run, police said. So one police officer was killed, another seriously wounded during the violent spree. The city of Boston and surrounding areas have ground to a standstill as the manhunt continues in a 20-block radius of Watertown, with local leaders warning residents to stay indoors. Police also announced that there will be a controlled explosion in a building in Cambridge on Friday afternoon. Quote, "It is important that folks remain indoors, keep the doors locked, and not open the door unless if there is a uniformed law enforcement officer on the other side of it," said Governor Deval Patrick at 12:30 p.m. press conference. Now the suspect on the lam is Zogar Zidarinov, who's 19, of Cambridge, Massachusetts, a student at the University of Massachusetts of Dartmouth. He and his brother's family is originally from Chechnya, about once war-torn southern Russia Republic. The family fled to Kyrgyzstan and eventually immigrated to the United States as refugees about 10 years ago. Now his older brother studied at a local community college and was the Golden Gloves boxer, and Tamerlan Tsarnaev also reportedly had a wife and a young child. Now Zogar Tsarnaev, who was remembered by his former classmates as bright and personable, he posted links to pro-Chechen and independent sites on his social media page and listed his worldviews on Islam. However, it's unclear if either the separatist politics of Chechnya or their religion had anything to do with the suspect's crime. Tsarnaev appeared to be posting in his Twitter account after the attacks, writing in his last post on Wednesday, "I'm a stress-free kind of guy." His post covered everything from cute photos of his hat to rap lyrics. Now, the suspect's uncle told the local CBS news station that the pair had lived in the country since 2002. The uncle, when told that one of his nephews was killed, replied that he deserved it. He deserved this, and he absolutely deserved it, said Ruslan Tsarny, and they did not deserve to live on this earth. In an emotional press conference, Tsarny said his nephews had brought about shame to their family and called them losers, said they were not able to settle themselves and were angry at everyone who was able to. He said he did not believe they were motivated by radical politics in Chechnya or their Muslim religion. Now, Zogar, if you're alive, turn yourself in and ask for forgiveness from the victims and the injured, he said, and he put shame on our family, he put shame on the entire Chechen ethnicity. Turn yourself in. He added that he hadn't been in touch with his family for several years, but would not say why. Quote, "I'm ready to kneel in front of them and ask for their forgiveness," Zarni said of the victims of his nephew's crime. "I respect this country, I love this country. This country gives everyone a chance to be treated like human beings." And the Wall Street Journal, citing unnamed law enforcement sources, said that one or both of the brothers traveled back to the Caucasus region of Russia for a year or more before returning to America again. Now, Zarnev's father, reached by the AP in Russia by phone, said his son was a true angel and a wonderful student. He later told ABC's Good Morning America they wanted his son to surrender peacefully. The University of Massachusetts at Dartmouth announced shortly after 10:30 a.m. on Friday they were evacuating the entire campus after learning Zarnev is a registered student there. Earlier at sunrise, Governor Patrick ordered the shutdown of all public transit for residents in the city of Boston and on its edges to stay indoors. The massive manhunt for the second suspect was underway. Now, the Boston Globe reported that police are focusing on the 20-block area of Watertown and feared the suspect may be wearing explosives. Now, Amtrak has also shut down all trains between Boston and New York. The situation is grave and we are trying to protect the public safety, said Massachusetts State Police Colonel Timothy Alban, who had locked down of Watertown, Waltham, Belmont, Cambridge, Newton, Allston, and Brighton. Brookline was later ordered to be on lockdown as well, and no fly zone has been declared over Watertown. The city of Boston was eerily quiet during Friday's rush hour. The city's busiest intersection was totally abandoned. The mayhem began at approximately 10:20 p.m. Thursday, when police said the bombing suspects robbed a 7-Eleven store in Cambridge. Minutes later, police said the men shot and killed an MIT campus officer, Jean Collier, who was 26, responding to the robbery call. And the terror suspects then carjacked a Mercedes-Benz SUV with the driver inside and fled, eventually letting the driver go. Shortly before 2 a.m. Friday, MIT issued a statement on its website saying that the suspect in this evening shooting is no longer on campus. It is now safe to resume normal activities. Please remain vigilant in the coming hours. MIT, Harvard, Boston University, and the other local colleges have canceled classes. The suspects were then spotted in Watertown, where federal agents swarmed the unit at approximately 3:30 a.m. Massachusetts State Police issued a plea on Twitter for residents of Watertown to lock their doors and not to open for anyone, as dozens of police officers, many of them off-duty, searched backyards and exteriors of houses there, and a police perimeter of several blocks was established. Worried residents were also told to turn off their cell phones out of fear that they could trigger improvised explosive devices. Now, K9 units and SWAT teams searched homes on Spruce Street as officers with police robots searched an SUV that the suspects had abandoned. Multiple devices were left on the road and 2 handguns were recovered, according to police scanners. The suspect exchanged dozens of rounds of gunfire with patrol officers, and basically Tamerlan Zornev was shot by police and brought to Beth Israel Medical Center. He arrived at the hospital under cardiac arrest with multiple gunshot wounds and blast-like injuries to his chest. The second suspect fled on foot, leading to the tense manhunt that is still underway to this hour. Now, a transit police officer, Richard A. Donahue, was seriously wounded during the exchange of gunfire, officials said. And, we believe this to be a terrorist, said Boston Police Commissioner Ed Davis of Zornev. We believe this to be a man who came here to kill people. We need to get him into custody. Now, when the radio alert sent issued to fellow officers, the suspect was described as a white male with dark complexion, with thick curly hair, wearing a charcoal gray hooded sweatshirt, possibly an assault rifle and explosives. Now, police in Watertown, Newton, Brighton, and Cambridge were put on high alert. Units used caution, and officers said he might have an explosive object on his person. Now, President Barack Obama attended an interfaith service for the bombing victims in Boston on Thursday. Was briefed on the overnight developments, and the White House said early Friday he received an updated briefing later in the day. Police were able to track down images of the suspects after a victim of the attacks, Jeff Bauman, came to them with a description. Bauman's legs were torn apart by the bomb.